Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show She Speaks at 10. Today, we are in conversation with Dr. Manjiri Prabhu. She is an award winning international author, a short film maker, and the curator founder of two international festivals. A very warm welcome to Miss Dr. Manjiri.
Hello, everyone. Namaste, India. It's such a pleasure to be here today. And I want to thank Aambra Foundation, who does a lot of good work, for women and empowerment of women. I really want to thank them for inviting me here today. And I want to thank Vinita Bakshi. Thank you, Vinita. This is such a good opportunity to speak to all the women and the people out there. Well, so I've been asked to talk directly to all of you without any questions, and I am going to say what comes to my heart. Okay, so firstly, I come from a very how should I say, a kind of a traditional family. We are four sisters, one brother, and my mom, and of course lots and lots of dogs, and I'm married. So well, I grew up in a very, how should I say, a unique atmosphere. We were we were always very close. Even now, we are a very close-knit family. And as kids, we used to always have such different kind of games. Like we used to have treasure hunts. We had, a club, a mystery club, and we used to go out in the streets and try to solve mysteries. And my mom used to kind of lay treasure hunt trails for us, like on the streets. We used to have twigs, markings of twigs, or there should be marks on the branch of the trees, and arrows placed with stones. And it used to be great fun, finding out a treasure that is laid out by my mom in some part of Pune. And of course, Pune that time was very different. We used to cycle around everywhere. And I grew up in a very, very happy childhood. But also, along the way around when I was 7 years old, before that, I was introduced to Enid Blyton books. And I loved reading all her books so much. I was a voracious reader. And I just knew when I read her books that I wanted to write. Enid Blyton was my spirit mentor, I'm going to say right now, because she kind of not only introduced me to the genre, of mystery writing, at least almost gave it to me on a platter, but she also instilled in me this need to create stories that would create memories in the hearts of people and memories in the minds of people. I feel that being a writer, which I realized very early on that I wanted to be, that I wanted to really create stories that would go beyond, the last page of the book. And I don't mean writing serious stuff. I mean just fun, entertaining stories, which would be a part of every person's life and would live on in the lives of people in the form of good characters and good memories. And I was so convinced that I wanted to be a writer. And I was so connected to Enid Blyton books that I felt I was Enid Blyton reborn. I mean, literally, I used to feel that her books were exactly what I wanted to write, and she had already written them. So I felt I must surely have been Enid Blyton in my last life. But of course, I realized much later that she passed away much later than when I was born. Anyway, so I knew as a child that I wanted to be a writer. And as I grew up, I knew, I didn't want to go to school. I said, school is so boring. I didn't want to do history, geography, whatever. I just wanted to be a writer. And, I felt my imagination played a very big role in my life. So I felt I don't need to study. I can just be a writer. I can stop all this and feed on my imagination and write stories. But of course, my mom convinced me, in 7th standard, I was almost willing to give up school. And she said, no, don't do that. Just, continue writing, but continue your studies, study up to 10th standard and all. And she literally pushed me forward. And I managed to complete 10th, but not just that, I managed to complete my doctorate. So of course, my mom and my sisters and my brother, they've been a big and huge support in my life. And I think that is the reason why when I think of my characters and the characters that I create, the female characters especially, I realize that I do not write the traditional stories. I mean, I don't write, I write women-oriented stories, but I don't keep the women as the victim. She is never the victim. She's always, an empowered woman who is faced with a lot of, should I say, plots in her life and challenges in her life, and she rises to the occasion and becomes even more powerful. And the reason behind this, I feel, is that I believe that a woman is a very empowered person. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a bread earner, she has a career. Who else can give birth to kids? And she's tolerant, she's patient, she's dynamic, she's charming, she's attractive, she's beautiful. She's a complete package, I feel. And I think it's the circumstances around her which either give her the confidence or don't give her the confidence. But I think it's the role of every woman to rise above those challenges, whether they're societal challenges or traditional challenges or cultural challenges, and to be what you're born to be. And so when I was a child and I kept thinking I wanted to be a writer, and I was doing other things along the way, there was this little voice inside me, which kept reminding me that you're born to be a writer, you're born to be a writer. And I'm saying you're born to be a writer because I do believe that I'm a writer by heart, not by chance, not by accident, not by choice. I just have to write. And I kept listening to that little voice inside me all my life. And I think that's the reason why, despite doing other things like other careers and everything else, I still listen to that inner voice. And I think as women, we need to listen to that inner voice. It is very important that we listen to that inner voice and we become the personalities we are born to be, instead of the personalities that society thinks we should be. And I think that's a very important point I would like to highlight here. Anyway, so I think I published my first book in 94, then 95, and I think I'd written 4 books or 5 books, and then I got a fantastic deal with Random House USA, the Cosmic Clues and the Astral Lullaby, which talked about a lady detective from Pune who solved cases with the help of astrology. And before I got the deal, I was so thrilled with the concept, the unique concept of the books, that I sent it out to a lot of Indian publishers. But unfortunately for me, they were all, or fortunately for me, I don't know, it'll all depend. They were rejected by Indian publishers. And I was like puzzled, because I thought, here's something very unique and nobody wants it. Well, luckily for me, it is fortunate that I got an American agent who got me an American deal. Experience in life. And I think the lesson I learned from this was that never give up hope. Be bad. Sometimes send out a manuscript to a publisher, it may not be the right fit. It doesn't necessarily reflect on your writing, not the quality of your writing, but certainly it could be a wrong fit, or they have already got something similar, or they are not doing your kind of books right now. So you have to look at rejection as an opportunity to do something better, and an opportunity for other windows to open. And I think that's what happened with me. With Indian publishers rejecting it, I think I got a bigger and better deal. And I just didn't take that rejection. I took that rejection very positively, and I used it as a springboard. So it's important that whatever you face in life, you have to look at it as a springboard. Every negative thing that happens to you is actually leading you to something positive, is what I firmly believe in. After I've published these books, I thought, hey, I'm an internationally published author, and now no one will dare say no to me. And that's where I was actually wrong, because I wrote, a book called The Cavensite Conspiracy. And well, it was again a unique concept where a story happens in 48 hours and spans about 3-4 continents. And I said, hey, here's a good book, and I'm an internationally published author, and definitely no one's going to say no to this. But as luck would have it, no Indian publisher was again willing to touch it. And at that point, I had even given up my daily job that was in Balchitravani, where I was a television producer. And I went through a phase of not depression, but depressive actions, you can see, where I didn't want to do anything. And I realized, what's the point? I'm internationally published, but nobody wants to publish my books. And I kept thinking of other things. I've given up my job. There's no paycheck coming home. And I kept thinking that, what if this had happened, and what if that had happened? And I was totally in a bad state of mind, until my 1 a.m. episode. I call it my 1 a.m. episode. It happened on around January 11th, I think, 2011. And at that point, at 1 o'clock in the night, I call it my 1 a.m. episode because it happened at 1 at night. I was sleeping, and you're in this semi state, where you're neither awake and neither asleep, and then you're in between trance-like state. And I kept thinking of, this happened, and someone went to Kashmir, and they've got a kid, and so and so and so published a book, and I was in this, this whole turmoil thing, even at that 1 o'clock in the night. And suddenly, this is a real incident. Suddenly, a part of me just detached from myself, and I looked at myself from third person viewpoint, literally, like I was looking down at myself, and I saw a person who had published 5 books, who had a good family, a comfortable house, food to eat, trips and travels, and a total and healthy, most importantly healthy. And I suddenly felt this real immense wave of gratitude that overcame me. And I felt, why was I thinking of what I did not have? Why am I not thinking of what I already have? And this sudden sense of gratitude engulfed me, and I realized I was so lucky. You won't believe it. That wave of gratitude was the foundation of everything that happened after that. Suddenly, things started becoming positive in my life. The negativity went off. Cavensite Conspiracy was picked up by Rupa Publications. And after that, book after book got published. But the biggest lesson I learned here was that, there's no point comparing your lives to others. You're you, and you have a unique path and unique destiny. And it's very important to focus on yourself and your career and just yourself and your capacities and capabilities when you're mapping your life or when you're planning your life. And gratitude is the most important part of this whole journey, because when you're grateful for what you have, you bring in more of what you want. And it's really a secret, I feel, that everyone should know, that you base your life on gratitude, and more and more opportunities to be grateful will come to you. So I think that's what I really learned from it, and since then I've always been grateful. Well, along the way then, of course, I published book after book, and in 2013 we decided to have an international literary festival called PILF, that's the Pune International Literary Festival. And that was because, Pune, they did not have Litfest. It's kind of called the Oxford of the East, and seat of Indian education and all that. And it did not have an English Litfest. So we said, hey, let's do it. Well, the first 2 years were, I have to admit, literally a nightmare, because we had MIT, of course, supporting us in kind, but we didn't have any real sponsors. And I had to put in my own money, and I borrowed money from my husband, and, I took favors from everyone. And the whole goal was just to have this Litfest done. Well, we had barely 1,000 people attending in the first year, and people weren't happy, and I just didn't know whether to continue with the Litfest. But in the third year, I stuck on. I said, no, let me do this. I've started it. I just have to do this. Luckily, in the third year, we got a title sponsor in Vishwakarma Publications. And from there on, PILF did not look back. It grew from year to year. And last year, I mean, not the COVID 2020, but 2019, we had a footfall over 3 days of 18,000 people, which I think is really good for a Litfest. And, I just realized that had I given up in the first year or in the second year, every one of us would have been at a loss, because, it's a Litfest Punekars look forward to. It's a Litfest where authors and readers get to meet and interact. And it's a platform for aspiring authors too. And there's so much, it's a hub of creative energy. And it's an amazing place to be those 3 days, during that point of year. And I realized that if I had given it up, all this would have been gone. And the tenacity that was important, to maintain that was what I had to hold on to. I had to be very tenacious and determined. And I think when you have the bigger picture in mind, I mean, I knew what this festival was going to be. And when you have this bigger picture in mind, I think you just have to stick it out. And I think that's what I did. And I had a fantastic team. And I want to come back to my family and say that, it's important to have the support of your family, because without family, without the good support of a family, really, you're just alone in the world, struggling to do things on your own. And you do need love and emotional support of your family. So coming back to, female characters, uh, earlier I said that they're empowered, but seriously, I feel that that empowerment, that feeling of empowerment, which I think I personally have in me, and people like Vinita Bakshi and all, these are empowered women. And for me especially, it came from the atmosphere of empowerment in my house. My sisters, my mom, they're very, very strong women, uh, educated, they know what they want in life, they will stick it out no matter what, they will fight all odds and challenges. There's never a weak moment, they're all strong. And I think that has kind of grown into me and has grown into my characters. So I feel that it's very important in this life to know what you want and to go for it, and to be strong all along the way. Another thing that is very important for me is that I have never really looked at myself as a woman. I believe in a genderless existence. So I don't, when I step out of this house, I'm not a woman, I'm a person, I'm a human being. And I think for me, that is really very important because, and I think I would advise this to every woman out there, that you go for a genderless existence. By that, I mean, stop being conscious that you're a woman. Stop being conscious that you're in a role of a mother or a daughter or a wife or a female employee or, whatever, simply because when you are genderless, you are treated in a genderless manner. You neither take the favors, neither do you take the stereotypical, those the bricks and bats that come along the way, or the image, the stereotypical image of the fragile woman who is helpless and who needs to be elevated. I think all those stereotypical images go away when you are a genderless person. And when you're genderless, you also invite a genderless interaction. And I think that's a very healthy way to live. Just be a human being, and just be a human being filled with love and compassion. Talking about love and compassion, for me, I think I'm a dog person. I'm also a cat person, but I love dogs. And I feel that dogs really teach us a lot. And I mean, we have pets, of course, but I'm talking about the street dogs out there. And I feel that these street dogs have really taught me a lot. And I feel that a book of mine is coming out. It's called The Dog Tree of Peace, which means dogs are, if all of us believe in this and if all of us follow the doctrine of peace, will lead us to world peace if we just follow the path. I know it's a huge statement to make, but when you read the book, you'll understand. But what I'm trying to say is this, that love and compassion are the essential tools for survival in this world, for communicating with nature, for interacting with each other. Make love and compassion the foundation of your life. And I'm sure you'll get that, lots of that in reciprocation. Well, I just want to finally end with one, how should I say, a kind of I follow a certain system. I follow a system called SAVE, SAVE. I call it my SAVE system, and I apply it to myself all the time. So it's S capital, A capital, V capital, E capital. What does it stand for? S is to see. I see. I see my plans. I visualize what I want. I see where I want to go ahead in life. I see how I want to behave. Seeing is very important. Very clearly what you want in life. You need to be clear about what you want in life. You have to listen to that inner voice. So I'm always seeing what I want, seeing where I want to go, seeing whom I want to be with, seeing what I want to do. So seeing for me, and seeing, just not looking, seeing it, as if it's already happened, is very important for me. So S stands for see. A is in SAVE. A is for action. You have to act on it. You just don't see it. You have to believe that it's going to happen, and with the confidence that you need from inside you, you have to act on it. Act, save, see, and act. Actions are most important. Just seeing without actions is just wishful thinking. So you have to act on your dreams and act on your vision. We, okay, now we is very important for me, because we is value yourself. V is for value. You don't always have to wait for people to say, hey, you've done such a good job. You don't want people to sit and come and pat on you. You can pat yourself. You can tell yourself that you've done a great job, and you've done whatever you could in the given circumstances and capacity, and learn to value your effort. So I think, see yourself, see your vision, act on it, but value and admire whatever you've done so far, and keep, how should I say, be proud of yourself. It's very important to be proud of yourself and to value yourself. Don't wait for others to do it. Sometimes they might never do it, but that doesn't mean that you're not valuable. So value yourself. And lastly, E. For me, E is also extremely important, and that is evolve. You have to evolve. You have to keep changing with the times. You have to work towards your goal in such a way that you can adapt to new things, new experiments. Don't be rigid. Keep evolving, because if you're static, you're stuck. If you're evolving, you're moving. And if you're moving, you're achieving something, you're going somewhere. So you have to keep moving. And so for me, the SAVE formula works very well. It's something that I would like to offer you too. See and act and value yourself and evolve. I think finally, I just want to say one more thing, and that is that, success and failure. I know everyone tries for success, and success, I look at success as, a kite which is flying in the air and with the tail wagging. And I always see myself hanging on to the tail of a kite, with this, no matter what, I'm not letting myself go, because success is elusive, and it's like a kite, so constantly moving. So you have to hold on tight. But finally, whether you're successful or you have temporary failures, you have to remember that both success and failures are temporary. They're not permanent. They keep changing all the time. One moment it's like happiness and sadness. One moment you're happy, the next you're sad. It's, good things happen, bad things happen. You just have to keep evolving and keep changing and being true to yourself. I think ultimately what matters is listen to your inner voice, be true to the personality you're born to be, follow your visions, value yourself, do what you're supposed to be doing in this world. You'll find your purpose in life. If you haven't already, go towards your purpose, live with love and compassion. I think that's really my message out there. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you, ma'am. Last, not least, I would like to share that at Aambra, we also do have a toll free counseling helpline number for women and adolescent girls living in Delhi NCR. Our mental health professionals are available from 10 to 5, Monday to Saturday, to help you and support you in times of distress. The number is 1800 833 2300. I would like to repeat 1800 833 2300. Thank you everyone for watching our show.
Thank you.